If there's one segment of model railroading that I would say is still very heavily a brass market, it would have to be traction models. Now, there are a number of plastic and die-cast ones that have been produced, but they usually focus on more popular prototypes like the PCC trolleys or the Brill trolleys. Some of the other ones, which are not so common, you're pretty much going to be looking at a brass model or maybe a wood kit. Now, fortunately, over the decades, a very large number of different brass models have been produced. Many of them are still pretty affordable. This one here is a brass model that was imported by Soho. I got a good deal on it at a train show about 10, maybe 12 years ago. But if there's one problem that a lot of these older brass models have, it's poor running quality. You can see that this one here is a very smooth runner, and I've done some work on it to make it that way. Now, as for what's been done, well, one of the major problems with brass models with this style of chassis especially is getting split gears on the axles. I've managed to fix that on this model, and then you might also just get a really poor quality motor, which was the case here, where I just couldn't improve the performance, so I swapped it out for this coreless motor here to really improve things. And repairing those gears, adding in that coreless motor, and doing a little bit of electrical pickup work too, really made this into one nice running traction model. And now recently I have acquired another brass traction model which is in need of some gear repair work, so I thought that for this video I would show how to do it. So this one is a maintenance car, electrically powered with the trolley pole there. It has the motor mounted underneath with these same style of trucks which you saw on the other brass model. That allows it to fit completely under the floor here and just give it a really nice prototypical look without having to oversize anything, and it hides away most of the chassis aside from the big motor that's sticking out of the bottom. So to get started on this, first thing I'm going to do is just take things apart. Take out that trolley pole first if I can. Well, seems like that's maybe screwed in there. So let's leave that alone. It looks like what I need to do is probably just take out these 4 screws that are in the middle. Okay, so that takes that off. And yeah, there's a little nut inside holding that trolley pole in place. Let's see, I think I'll want to remove the motor just to make all this easier. And they have these screw-on couplings here to make it easier to remove. Just give those maybe a half turn. That's all they need to loosen. Oops. Although sometimes the shaft wants to turn on you. There we go. Now, to get the trucks off, let's see. Oh, yeah. I'll just undo the rest of that universal. Screwed at both ends. It's a spring, so you just have to push back on it, then pull it out. And then that reveals the screw that's holding the truck in place. There goes that. Now to get the wheels and gears out of the side frames, spread that out. And it drops right out from there. This one you just have to get past the additional little electrical wipers they put in for that 8-wheel pickup. Now, and you can see that that axle is just slipping on that gear because of that crack. So the next thing is to place that into a wheel puller to gently get that off of there, get the wheel off of that axle. So I'm just barely touching that needle point there. I want to be real careful not to damage it. And if the needle point does get flattened on the end at all, then I'll just have to take a little file or something around it, or maybe just or maybe just a grinding wheel to really carefully shape that back out the way that it's supposed to be. There, now that's coming off. From this point, I can just do the rest of that by hand. Yeah, it flattens the needle a little bit, but that's repairable. It'll be fine. There, so there's the gear. So now let's get on to fixing that. Now the gear's too small to melt back together, so what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to start by just trying to get this sheet of sandpaper into that crack there. There we go. So now, just kind of sand down both sides of that a little bit. Make sure that there's nothing that's going to hold the gear apart. Okay. Yeah, that should do it. There, you can kind of see that. So now the gear can kind of squeeze together just a little more. So the next thing to do will be to expand that middle hole just slightly. The axle is 2.4 millimeters, so I have this drill bit that's about 2.5 millimeters. I'm just going to real carefully squeeze the gear over it a little bit while I turn that by hand. Just real gently clean that out. Yeah, that's a slip fit onto there now. And thanks to that, the gear can just slightly close over that, which is exactly what I need it to do here. Now next, I'm going to put just a little bit of knurling onto the axle to help hold the gear in place. I'm going to be using glue, and that little bit of roughness to the surface will help the glue to hold stronger to the axle. So I'm just putting some pressure on a file here while I roll the axle underneath it against a metal surface. There, and you see that created a bit of a pattern on there. You can feel some roughness. So the glue will bond better to that. Now holding that end closed with pliers and keeping it at just the right spot to allow the axle to be able to move left and right a bit. I'll just put some liquid super glue into there. Liquid glue will be able to fill the gaps. I'll just give that a bit of time to dry, and we'll see if it holds. Now with that one gear done, we'll get on to the other one. I'll go ahead and loosen that set screw on the main axle gear there. Then I'll also remove the worm from the truck so that I don't have to work around that while I'm doing the rest of it. That's just held in place by 3 screws, 2 on one side, 1 on the other. There, that'll make it easier. And that gear's already loose, so now I just need to put that into the wheel puller again. Get that off. Pull it out the other end. Both gears will drop out. Now I'll just do the same fix to this gear. And when I'm putting it back in, I just have to make sure to also slide this one in correctly. And these gears seem to be turning smoothly together. So that first fix is working so far. Now I've got both gears done on this truck, and I added a little bit of grease and oil to it. Just to see how things turn. It's not quite perfect, but it's not exactly having any hard binds anymore, so I think this is going to work, and it's just going to need maybe a little run time to see how things really set in. Okay, I've got it temporarily hooked up to this Lindsay motor here just because it's a little easier to connect the clips to it for testing. And so far, everything seems to be working just fine, and in both directions too. So with this fix, one thing about it is if it doesn't work quite right the first time, you can just remove the gear, rework things a little more, and try again. And eventually, just being able to hold the teeth together while you put a little bit of that liquid glue in, everything should set up nicely and work smoothly enough. And if all else fails, it should be possible to get replacement compatible gears from Northwest Shortline. And regarding the motor, I cleaned this up a little bit, gave it some oil, made sure everything was turning smoothly. And compared to the more open frame motor that was included with the Soho model that I had back on the layout, this one is built quite a bit tighter and it actually runs pretty smoothly, so it should be a decent running motor. And I'll go ahead and use it for this one instead of replacing it. And now the gears are all finished and the model is reassembled and working. And it did take a few tries to get all of them just right, but everything does seem to be working well now. And the motor's working pretty well too. It's definitely not a very high torque one, but it does the job. This is a model that could benefit from a rewiring just because the way that these wires are, they can actually pull on the brush if you have them arranged just wrong, and that can definitely cause problems, but I'm not really going into that so much on this video because this is about the gearing. And while I was at it, I decided to give the model a bit of a polish, so I soaked the major brass parts in some vinegar and then scrubbed them clean with soft scrub and a toothbrush, and then I used Brasso to clean up to do a little bit of spot treatment. Finished it off with a brass wire wheel and gave it a clear coat. And this here I actually buffed with a buffing wheel so it would be nice and shiny. And that clear coat will protect the brass finish, and this will be shiny forever. So now let's take this over to the layout and see how it works. Got it on the track. Let's see how it goes and hope for no short circuits. So far so good. It's looking nice and smooth. Now let's reverse it. Also working backwards. So far no binds or lockouts. And I'd say that all looks good. So there you go. If you've got one of these old brass traction models and it has the low profile geared trucks with the split gear issues, it is possible to fix them and get them working smoothly again. You just need to have some patience to do it because it is a little bit of a touchy process. But if you take the time and do it right, you can have a nice smooth running model.